what we're seeing is that, again, when you talk about affordability, it is just not attainable. Folks are more than willing to just give up their homes, give up their units if they're losing their employment, and just saying, look, I'll just live on the street.
This is Las Vegas Real Estate Now with local real estate expert Harvey Blankfeld.
First of all, the Nevada Housing Coalition is a 501c3 member-based organization. We have over 350 members statewide representing 200 organizations. And when I say that, that is developers, that is utilities companies, your universities, everybody involved.
Medical, I know some medical people, medical community there.
Transportation. So we really try to involve everybody as part of the conversation around housing. We've been in existence for over 7 years. And so getting back to your question, yes, we look to identify and talk about the whole housing spectrum. So you're looking at 0 to 30, under 60% AMI, 80%, and now with the new tier of 80% all the way up to 150% AMI. And that AMI is area medium income, right?
Okay.
So just for our listeners that's not aware of that. And so what we're looking to do and our biggest thing is to educate the community, but then also advocate for new policies and for legislation to move forward. And we have been very successful over the last few legislative sessions in regards to bringing out allocations that went towards development throughout the state.
Yeah, I mean, I think that the work you guys are doing is helping a lot of ways. We've seen things happening in recent times that we had never seen before.
Absolutely.
And I think that's amazing, and it's so important. And I've been doing this show for 12 years. We started doing it out of an idea that the headlines and the TV and the radio all was scaring people. It was frightening them from the idea of ever considering even owning a home at all, period. And now more than ever, it's so hard to get that first one.
Absolutely.
And that's where we are. That's the market we're in these days. It's hard to get that first one. I was talking to someone just earlier today. He said, yeah, I just can't save it. I just no way I can save money to buy a house. I just can't do it. And I understand and empathize. I think it's harder now than it's ever been.
Absolutely, it is.
And so you guys are trying to help pave the road for that and get things in place for that. So the new Housing Act that just passed through Congress and that never got signed, but passed anyway.
It passed anyway, yes.
Thank goodness.
It is law.
It's law now.
Yes.
Thank goodness. But tell me more about, can you tell me a little bit more about that? Tell me about what that's going to bring us.
Yeah, it's the 21st Century Road to Housing Act. And again, we worked as a coalition, we worked with our federal delegation, primarily with Congressman Horsford and Congressman or Senator Rosen, to let them know and identify what was going on and what was happening. And so some of the major provisions that went into that bill, and it mainly touches on production of affordable housing, and to be able to create more single-family residences across the country, right? And so some of those provisions that went into it was the expansion of the low-income tax credits. This will help more developers be able to get out and be able to develop at a faster rate, as well as allowing environmental reviews to be done and use them multiple times. Usually that is a huge hiccup, for developers, because again, those take years to get done, and now that'll cut the time down for developers to be able to get in and really start from the ground up. It also modernizes the appraisal profession to improve housing access.
Okay.
Also, it's also provides more opportunities for manufactured and modular housing, which is definitely a need. If you probably would have talked about this 10 years ago, especially in Nevada, that was not a big thing. We were not in favor of that. But now with our population growing and the need for just additional housing, it has become a huge need. And then corporate investing, right? And so Congressman Horsford, who has been a strong proponent of trying to limit what they are able to do. A lot of his language from his initial bill that was created really back in 2021, 2022, was put into this bill as well. So this is a great bill. It's a great start, right? And to show the bipartisan with it, to be able to get that through, was just a tremendous success.
Maybe the most bipartisan effort we've seen in a long time.
A very long time.
Right?
Agreed.
Yeah.
Yes.
And exciting to see that kind of cooperation between the two.
And the most consequential housing bill we've passed in decades.
Yes.
Clearly. And I'm so excited for it because it does address, and Nick and I have talked about this on the radio before, it really addresses the key problem, which is supply.
Right.
That's what it does. It doesn't make things necessarily easier for people or doing that. What it does is increase the supply, which will naturally soften the market. It'll just naturally do it.
Absolutely.
Which, and for those of you out there who are homeowners, well, I don't want to soften. We're in for a little bit of softening, guys. It needs to happen a little bit. We have to soften this market just a little bit to make it a little more accessible for entry level buyers. And I always say this, and I know you've heard me say it. Those of us who already own a home might be saying, well, it does affect you. Because here's why. If we don't have entry-level home buyers, there's no one to buy your home when you're ready to sell.
Correct.
That we need to fill up that base again. That base needs to get filled up. And if it's filled up with corporate investors, they're not coming for your home.
Correct.
They're not going to give you the money you want for your home. So we need those entry-level buyers in there.
Yeah.
And you think about it, also discourages, the people just graduated college that are, school teachers or nurses, and maybe they have to look elsewhere. And if they can't find affordable housing here, then they leave. And we complain about school quality and we complain about, medical care here. Well, it's all interrelated back to housing.
Absolutely.
Indeed. Such an important, integral part of our local economy. And look, let's face it, it's had such an impact on the national economy over the last few decades. I mean, the housing crisis was started out of housing, and that was maybe the worst thing that could have happened at the worst possible time. I talk about Las Vegas in those terms because Las Vegas was the fastest growing city at the worst possible time.
Right.
And that's what happened. We got creamed at that point. Okay. So when we talk about housing affordability crisis, it's tied to the overall economic development, right?
Absolutely.
So our city is growing. I mean, it used to be a nice little tourist place to go every now and then and lose your paycheck every now and then turn into a city, then a large. Now it's just a major metropolitan area. We are a big player in the United States. But the cost of housing has increased as a percentage of income, and it's getting to be unattainable. Even rentals, renting.
I would say it's already unattainable for a lot. I mean, I look at, just recently last week, our point in time count came out, which is an annual count that just counts like the homeless individuals and families that's on the streets.
Okay.
And so that number actually grew by almost 20%. I think we're at about, for Southern Nevada alone, we're at about 8,800, somewhere around there. 2 years ago, when that number was published, it was at about 7,000.
Okay.
So seeing that growth, and then also identifying that, roughly 15 to 20,000 individuals will see some form of homelessness over the next 12 months. What we're seeing is that, again, when you talk about affordability, it is just not attainable. Folks are more than willing to just give up their homes, give up their units if they're losing their employment, and just saying, look, I'll just live on the street, because it's a depressing situation to have to be in.
And we've got to fix it here before it becomes like some of those other big cities where it's a lot worse. I mean, I know well,
per capita, we're actually like in the top 10. So,
are we?
Yeah,
okay.
Per capita, we're in the top 10.
And a really depressing fact for any veterans out there, it's our veteran homeless rate is one of the highest in the nation.
Oh, that's awful. That just makes me upset and angry.